Welcome back to another episode of the Wrinkly Brain Podcast. This is a Smooth Brain EDH affiliated podcast where we like to goof, gaff, and talk about the Commander format. I am your host, Jason, joined today by my co-hosts, Ethan.
Hello!
And Cameron.
Howdy.
New set, new videos. At this point, you probably know the drill. But for those of you less familiar with our preferred style of doing new set videos, we got a big list of cards that we're going to sporadically have to justify why we included this on this list. We're going to read them out to you, of course. Are we going to rate them? No. But you are invited to dunk on us if you think we hyped up a card for the wrong reasons. Simple enough?
Let's go.
Now,
Sure.
before we jump in, let's start off with the most pressing question of this set. Detectives, hat or no hat?
Hat. It's gotta be the hat, man.
We gotta vote for
easy.
hat.
It's easy. Did anybody on the fucking Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated group wear a hat? No. I think Scrappy Doo did once, but he doesn't count.
They
What do you
threw
mean he
him on.
doesn't
Who
count?
cares?
He was the focal point of the first live action movie. What do you mean he doesn't count?
Wait,
God, I miss that movie. I miss that movie so much. I miss that movie so much.
Isn't Mr. Bean in that fucking movie?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Wait,
he is. Mr.
in the first
Bean.
one?
Yes, he's like.
Wait,
Remember, because there's Mecha Scrappy Doo or something, or like.
no,
I
he was
don't
like
know.
super like.
No, Scrappy Doo is inside Mr. Bean.
Was that Mr.
Oh.
Bean?
What's that? I don't know.
Hold on.
This is a new mystery we're
Richard
gonna solve.
Atkinson, right? Is that Mr. Bean's?
I don't think it's Mr. Bean.
This is tangented in a way I did not expect.
Rowan Atkinson. Hold
Okay,
on.
that's much more like it.
Hold on. Rowan Atkinson's. Hold on. I'm finding it. He is! Oh my god! All right, I'm sending this to y'all in the chat real fast. This
I
doesn't even feel
thank
like
you,
we
Cameron,
started.
for solving the mystery of was Mr. Bean in the Scooby Doo
There's
movie.
Mr. Bean.
That
Mr.
was-
Bean.
No, no.
Yes, he is. Mr. Bean is in the Scooby Doo movie.
I have repressed that memory apparently.
Emerge Ethan's memories.
Okay, I can't even more. All right.
So, detectives
You
don't
started
have hats.
this.
Detectives don't have hats.
Yes, they do. All
No,
right.
they don't.
Look at.
know
Okay,
what? A
Carnage
detective with a
Connoisseur. Carnage Connoisseur is the cutest little devil boy with an adorable hat. You cannot tell me otherwise.
Okay, imagine if you're trying to be an undercover detective. Wouldn't it just be obvious to everyone that you're wearing a friggin' hat? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a detective. So, yeah, no hat.
No
No
hat.
hat.
What? Did I take like the wrong dose of drugs before I got on here? Because like you're supposed to agree with me, guys. You're
I
supposed to
mailed you
understand.
yours. You just didn't take
I'm sorry,
them.
we're here to gaslight you.
Yeah,
Yeah, we are.
we'll get there.
I mean, obviously,
when
the
we
hats are
get
the best
there.
thing in the entire thing, right, Cameron? We all agree that hats are fantastic.
Oh, yeah, hats are great.
Okay. So moving
No.
on. Hey guys, let's talk about magic cards, okay? Because apparently
I
hats
want
are
to
so
talk about
great.
the magic card. I had an argument here.
Well, I'm sorry. You should have been on my side before you want to have an
Jason,
argument.
what is your argument against hats? I am curious.
Ezra looks stupid. Anyway, carrying on now. All right, let's talk about the first card on the list. Cameron, it's yours. Go.
This is Delney
No, I need to hold up here.
Hold on.
I am in absolute, like, eternal anguish currently.
Are you a creature
Moving
with power
on.
2 or less, Ethan? Because that anguish is going to trigger twice. So 2 and a white for a 2/2. Delney Streetwise Lookout's a human scout. Creatures with power 2 or less are unblockable. If it's a creature with power 3 or greater trying to block it, and it's Harmonicon for creatures with power 2 or less. My justification for this card being on this list is that Harmonicons tend to be good. It ends there. I like doubling up my Skyclave apparitions. That was fun. I got to play this card.
It
And giving
doubles
your
up
opponent
to
2
leave.
tokens.
Yeah, don't worry about that. We don't worry about that part. It did
it is
happen. We did not mess that up.
I did look up Scryfall for the rulings there for all that when we tried to record that game. It is interesting. Delney does double up on all triggers, not just into the battlefield or leaves. So it does have some fun shenanigans with, let's say, Fiend Hunter. It's a really powerful card you can do with Blink shenanigans. You have to double up on that, which is awesome. You can do some really interesting stuff as that as commander. But I know CDH, there was murmurs and talks about it being CDH. Jason, are those rumors founded in anything?
Like, Delney's a solid card, but the decks that are like, I want to double my small creature triggers, like, most of the time people saw this and were immediately like, oh, this triggers Timna twice. Which,
Yeah.
true. That's
my first
pretty
thought.
nice. But the thing is, what else is it triggering?
I was gonna say what I mean.
Dockside.
Dockside
Dockside.
Sources.
That's
That's-
it.
Not Gilded
Esper
Drake.
Sentinel.
It does well.
Yeah.
Esper Sentinel if you don't buff it, but also you're really buffing that in CDH.
Yeah.
It does double trigger Thassa's Oracle because obviously that's what you want to do here.
It triggers Bowman as well. But the thing is, like, we play these
Ooh.
cards because they're good, not because we need to make them better to be broken.
Yeah, we don't need.
They're already broken.
Right.
So it's like
Yeah.
Like a Dockside making that makes 10 treasures is already going to win you the game. Like
yeah,
a lot
it
of
doesn't
the
need to make
time.
20.
Yeah. What's the point in making 20? I mean, there is sometimes is a point, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's just most of the decks that would exist for this. We're basically looking at a creature-based blue farm deck, which, like, not to say that those don't exist, but current meta is pushing towards more big creatures to try to overpower your opponents. If we move to a smaller meta, maybe that's something that would be interested in, but if we're in a small meta, do I really want to be working on a Panharmonicon creature as opposed to just trying to win faster or interact better?
There are different avenues you can take with this deck, which is really cool that I was thinking of. Like when I was deck building it, I am a Blink boy, so I did Blink and just like generic value, like Wall of Omens, draw a card. Yeah. But this could just be the best Soul Sisters commander, or one of the best Soul Sisters commander, if you want to go that route, because you just be gaining 2 life on every Soul gain a life trigger, like Soul's Attendant, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think this commander is a great commander. I think it's a great card in the 99. CDH is the specific area where I'm like questioning how much we actually want this card. I don't think it's bad. I think it's actually reasonable, but anyway. Let's talk about a different card that will see play in CDH. This is Doorkeeper Thrull. I don't even know if I really need to introduce this card because this card's already been the talk of the town, but this is a 2 mana, so 1 and a white for a 1/2 creature Thrull with flash and flying, and it says artifacts and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. Yeah, this is the best Hushbringer we've ever seen. Like,
I was gonna say, what distinguishes this from Hushbringer? Just Hushbringer has like lifelink or something?
Hushbringer also stops death trigger. So remembering just to be 100% sure, if I remember correctly, Hushbringer has lifelink, does not have flash, but dying also does not cause abilities to trigger, but it also doesn't affect artifacts.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the alternate removal that people will do to try to get rid of creatures is on artifacts. A lot of it's on enchantments too, but the most important thing is flash. Flash is incredible to have on this effect.
Yeah, somebody tries to like play their Crater Hoof, you can just hold this in your hand until it's relevant, and then you're just like, okay, I'm not dead.
Yeah, it's not just a stacks piece, because stacks pieces are relevant, they're powerful, but this is also a counterspell.
I was gonna say, you can liken this to a Stifle if you really think like it's good.
Yeah, and when you're talking about CDH, where we're like, you want to get them because you really need to stop those Dockside Extortionists, and you need them, but you want them to commit to it first. You want them to commit to the Thassa's Oracle before you play your Doorkeeper Thrull. This is so good, so very, very good. And also, not the most relevant thing, but it does come up occasionally. It will stop the protection from the One Ring.
Ha!
Oh!
It absolutely does.
Yeah, so you can't just ring walk people and try to avoid dying.
Okay.
It's also a flying goober for Tymna. Yay!
Yeah, it's a flying goober for Tymna. It's also a flying goober for Winota.
But also oh wait, never mind. It's ETB. Winota, yeah, that too. Winota is still kicking around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Winota's fallen out of favor quite a bit in the meta, but at the same time, I think that changes a lot.
Yeah. I will concur with that 110%.
All right, next one.
Woo! All right, I got this next one. It is Demand Answers. It's 1 in a red for an instant speed spell. As additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice an artifact or discard a card. Draw 2 cards. Friendship is ended with Throw Possibility. My new best friend is Demand Answers. This is just a strict upgrade to a card that was a strict upgrade. We went from Tormenting Voice, which was a sorcery speed, discard a card, draw 2, to instant speed with Throw Possibility, discard a card, draw 2 cards. Now I Demand Answers. This card's fantastic for multiple reasons. Just sack anything, so you keep card advantage there. Instead of going card neutral, it's card advantage in that. If you're trying to sacrifice artifacts in a deck like, let's say, Duretti, you just have free artifacts to sack. Yeah. It's great. And then also, the alternate art, I love the alternate art.
Yeah, the alternate art's great.
It is so cool.
It's fantastic. But might I add, we can go deeper. Because Tormenting Voice was power creeping Wild Guess. Which is the same card, but it's double red.
Wow.
It was. But also, that's not discard at random, is it?
I don't think it was. Because it was...
Wild guess makes me think it's a guess, which makes it a random element.
No, as an additional cost to cast a spell, just discard a card and then draw 2 cards.
It's
just double red to cast.
M13 was its first printing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this card's good. Some artifacts want to be sacrificed. So just having that avenue to be like, yeah, if I'm gonna sacrifice my Mycosynth Wellspring, get a basic.
It is so flexible. Like it already just discarding a card was like, okay, sure. It is just a value, like a good thing to do on like turn 2 or turn 3. It's like, hey, start filtering through. This is a dead card. Getting to do that, but also if you just need the card advantage and you're going to sack an artifact that needs to sack, or just anything, a mana rock that's not doing anything at this point. You have enough lands, you're flooding out. Come on. It works.
Yeah, the card's
works.
It just works, people. Yeah, I mean, it's great. I just find this funny that it's just Tormenting Voice. I think we can now officially say gets to join the very respectable ranks of explosive vegetation and coastal piracy for a card that has been way crept out of the format, yet people still play it.
And we'll get to another one later.
So, hey, on that note, though, Tormenting Voice has an art with Ugin in it. That's pretty sick. All right, there's cool. Enough reason to play. But also,
for that this I don't know. This alternate art I'm seeing with Aurelia is sick.
So not enough respect for
I love it.
For Zergo being a jerk. All right, next one.
All right, I got you a card. It's called Archdruid's Charm. This is 3 green pips for an instant. You can choose one of these 3 things. You can search your library for a creature or land card. If it's a land card, put it on the battlefield tapped. If it's a creature, keep it in your hand. Or you can put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control and have it. Oh, it's not even fight? That's disgusting. Yeah, deal damage equal to its power to its target creature you don't control. And then, or you could exile an artifact or an enchantment. So the joke within our play group is that this is the Ethan's, this is the anti-Ethan card.
I'm unfairly targeted here. This is not fair. All right. I don't know what WotC was on when they designed this card, but they knew what they were doing, and they should be ashamed.
Legitimately, I know I kind of keep up with Magic online, Twitter. I know people at first were kind of like, "Ooh, CDH for this card, ooh," and like from what that's what I heard. And the real thing is, number 1, it's 3 mana. That's way too much for CDH. Number 2, it's triple green. That's where I was going next. Yeah, even in like casual, you're not playing this outside of mono green or like green X. But although it is green, so you're like the best at fixing your mana to whatever colors you want or something.
Yeah, the real use for this card is where it is cracked is Pioneer.
Oh,
because it gets Nykthos.
It does get Nykthos.
Yeah, it's a removal spell for anything that you might care about, and also it gets Nykthos. So, just feeling good.
All I know is I'm getting a full art or a borderless full of it for my Kura deck because this is exactly what I want to do.
All right.
I have not slept properly since this card was announced. I fear grits me at night. I wake up in the night screaming, sweating, unable to escape its gaze. Moving on.
Anyway. All right, let me read this garbage card. All right, this is Anzrag's Rampage. So this is 3 red, total 5 mana for a sorcery. Destroy all artifacts you don't control. Then exile the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of artifacts that were put into graveyards on the battlefield this turn. You may put a creature exiled among them this way onto the battlefield. It gains haste. Return it to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. In terms of power level, this is a good card. I'm going to say that now. It's garbage because Vandal Blast players eat your heart out. Like, fuck you.
Can't destroy my artifacts if I ain't got none.
Card's fine. I mean, Vandal Blast has the added flexibility of being able to be a targeted removal. So I kind of like Vandal Blast for that reason.
Yeah.
I know there's the added benefit of getting the creature and all that stuff. Personally, I am a wimp. I don't like exiling cards to not cast them. So I don't like it for that reason. And I acknowledge my own inadequacy when evaluating this card because of my own preconceived notions. Fancy words to say I suck, is essentially.
I mean, the card is just, quite frankly, it's a solid card. It's a good wrath for artifacts. I It's another one-sided wrath for artifacts, which is also a bit frustrating because, like,
literally a week after we Jason goes on a anti-Vandal Blast, anti-Vandal Blast campaign.
But the other side of this, at least, and this is the weird part to me, like, I understand some people have hesitancy to play this card because it exiles cards from your deck and it doesn't replace them. Those cards are gone permanently. Counterpoint, and here's the funny thing: would you like to win with Thassa's Oracle?
But you exile your Thassa's Oracle. That would be funny.
Exile your whole deck plus your Thassa's Oracle. So 1-card win con. Downside is you have to give your opponents enough artifacts to make this work. But
that'd be funny. But like,
that's the one positive thought I have about this card.
Oh, I see what you mean. You exile your whole Thassa's. Oh, can you choose any creature? Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
yes, sweetie. Yes, you can.
This card has too much text.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do we go back to another Unga Bonga I play green card?
So Archdruid's Charm is very simple in what it does.
Hold on. This card, Cameron, when you said this card has too much text, I literally heard Cameron from Play to Win say that. Like, that is the most Cameron thing you have said.
I don't like reading. I can do it. I don't wanna.
Yeah, we don't have to. Anyway, let's stop reading this one. Next one.
Okay, cool. Let's go to Bear Time. Duskana the Rage Mother is a new Naya commander. It's coming in the Naya Precon for the set. 2 in red, green, and a white for a legendary creature, Bear, 5/5. Whenever it enters the battlefield, draw a card for each creature you control with base power and toughness 2/2. And whenever a creature you control with base power toughness 2/2 attacks, it gets +3/+3 until end of turn. So there's a whole alignment chart we can reference here about what is a bear. I played this for one of the videos coming out for the new set. I'd probably be our second one we're uploading here. And I did not actually stick to bear, typo, kindred, whatever word you want to throw out there.
Mm-hmm.
The bear. It is a bear deck in ideology, right? I play cards such as like Acidic Slime is an option, right? Yeah. What are some other 2/2 bad 2/2s I put in that deck? Delney was in that deck because that's a 2/2.
That's not a bad 2/2.
It's not a bad 2/2.
It's a really good.
You had Voice of Resurgence in that deck.
Yeah,
I did.
I countered it.
Okay. Anyway, so there's some good 2/2
on turn 2.
So having a redraw in the command zone as well as a. Do I want to say this is kind of like a Beastmaster Ascension effect? It is a pump effect. So it's obviously not consistent. The cool thing though is this is just base power toughness 2/2. You can put counters on it and all
Anthems,
that.
so still good.
And anthems, it'll still get that. It will still affect Duskana. Duskana will still see it because the base power toughness is 2/2. So that is something to note. So you can play Beastmaster Ascension. That just gives it a +5/+5 buff. And then with that, you're swinging with 10/10s.
Were you playing any blink effects, Ethan?
Okay, I'll be honest here. This is peek behind the curtain. Jason and I built this deck in about 23 minutes by going on Scryfall, typing in 2/2s in Naya colors, and just throwing 42 of them in the deck.
We literally looked at every single 2/2.
So you mentioned this on Scryfall right now. If you'll direct your attention to the right, it says related searches. Creatures with power and toughness 2/2.
Okay, this card literally came out the day we brewed the deck, though. Like, we just got announced.
This one was really late. This was like Friday, right?
Yeah, this was a tough one for us to build in time for
we brewed it on Thursday.
We had less than 3 days to get this one brewed, assembled, and ready to go.
That's probably
in the right pod.
This is also why we did not have the new Niv-Mizzet, because it was also spoiled like.
It was, Niv was spoiled late. But we'll talk about Niv in a minute.
Yeah.
Jason, by the way, you mentioned pod construction. No, bad, terrible. I'm never playing a creature-based deck against Massacre Girl ever again. That was literally the worst 3 hours of my life, and I've been through hell and back, okay?
So,
hey, you all had a lot of pressure you could apply to a Massacre Girl.
Not when I'm playing 2/2s, and he had a good start.
Those bears are 5/5. Shut up.
So
only on combat.
In Ethan's defense, it wasn't just the Massacre Girl. I was on Delney, and I had a teleportation circle with the Skyclave out. So I was exiling 2 things on each of my ends.
Oh, blame that motherfucker. Don't know me.
Yeah, no, it was that we didn't even use that game. We're not going to use that game the camera was in for 2 hours. The other game was literally just Massacre Girl board wiped every single turn.
Don't blame me, blame Shelby. Anyway, hey, where do you fall on the bear alignment chart?
Okay, let me pull I had it pulled up. Let me pull it back up again. Bear alignment chart. I believe I'm like true neutral. I was sitting at true neutral on the alignment chart. Because it is a bear must be a 2/2, but must resemble a creature that sort of resembles a bear. Actually,
I'm stats neutral, aesthetic radical.
Actually, no. Actually, I'm stats. I don't know. Aesthetic radical, stats neutral. I guess. Yeah.
I'm stats purist, aesthetic radical. Absolutely, Deputy of Acquittals is a 2/2 is a bear. You can't tell me it's not a bear.
Yeah,
I just think that it's
Gaddock, that's a bear.
Gaddock, that's a bear.
Hey, I considered it, and I told myself
I would have supported you in that decision.
I told Jason that. I said, Cameron would appreciate this.
You know what you should say about people that don't like Gaddock? Fuck them.
You can't cast that spell.
You can't cast that. No. Your supreme verdict. Nah.
Okay, so can we move on from Cameron just being a bad person to the next card? Hey, Cameron, tell us how you're a good person with this next card.
No, I'm really not. Because it's Krenko, Baron of 10th Street. It's 2 and a red with a haste. You can sack an artifact and tap her. Is Krenko a woman or a
he?
It's literally a beard. Look, that's literally a beard.
That's the neckiest neck beard I've ever seen on anything, dude. I didn't even notice it. It was so far down his neck. So sacrifice an artifact. Put a 1/1 counter.
Get this man a fedora.
For real. He has a crown on, so we're halfway there. Put a 1/1 counter on each goblin you control, and whenever an artifact you control is put into whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, holy shit, you may pay red. If you do, make a 1/1 goblin token against haste and live until end of turn. I didn't know it was any artifact. I thought it was just.
We love reading our cards live on camera.
Ain't it great? All I know is if you make infinite dockside treasures, this is a win con for it. Yay!
Whoa! Dockside winning games. How could it?
Well, although also, I don't know if there's any goblin artifact decks. I know Goblin has some artifact synergies with Welder and Engineer, so it's cool that you can actually I don't know if there was one before, but play a goblin artifact deck.
Yeah, the slow bad decks have been kind of you can try, but they haven't been great at it.
You said the name. You said what the decks are in there. Slow bad, slow and bad.
Slow and bad.
Yes.
As someone who likes slow bad, it's slow and bad. Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Yeah. This Krenko is pretty fast, pretty powerful. Important thing to note about the whole why the Dockside Infinite Treasures things work. You don't even have to have infinite treasures. Every treasure you make with Dockside can actually be used to create a goblin.
That's what I'm saying. You just make for every treasure you crack, you just use the red and pay that, and that's your one.
That's the important thing to note is this is a mana ability, so you will have that mana to pay for this effect. That's the important thing here.
All right, so this card, Krenko, Baron of 10th Street, is so good, guys. You want goblins? We got them. It doesn't make them. Well, it does make them, but you got to sack an artifact. Then you want to sack artifacts? Well, we got you, because the artifact sack outlet's good.
Thank you, Cameron.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us in Show and Tell today.
This is the 7th time you brought Ultra Lord this week.
But Ultra Lord!
I'm gonna pull the curtain for a second. We've been trying multiple takes on this shit, and this is what we get. Okay, carrying on now.
I was told more fervor, and I did it.
All right, let's go on to my next one. All right, the next one here is Case of the Gateway Express. This is a 2-mana case, so enchantment case. When it enters the battlefield, choose target creature you don't control. Each creature you control then deals 1 damage to that creature. To solve the case, you need to have attacked with 3 or more creatures this turn. And when you solve the case, you get an Anthem for all your creatures for just +1 power. Very cheap, efficient stat line, kills creature to enable you to actually go in and attack to get this Anthem. This is just a solid card.
I can see a lot of Boros decks liking this card, namely my baby PNLR console revival, other Boros token strategies, which we got a lot of the past year. I probably love this card. Winota, okay, I wasn't going to bring her up, but yes, Winota. But I was thinking more like a Neem Pakal or a Mean Pakal. I don't know which one has the N or M first, either one of those. The precons from All Will Be One, both of those commanders that you can swap out for probably be good here. You have an ooh. What you got?
The Phoenix Ilthari from
Othari?
yeah, Othari.
Yes, that's
I
what-
need to build
yeah,
that.
the-
I really like that
yeah.
commander.
You're
yes,
on the
same,
Boros side of
actually.
this. I also think that if you are in green-white tokens, like,
Ooh.
specifically, this is a really good card for you, actually. Like, you're willing enough to play cards like Kabira Takedown, which is just like a fine enough MDFC to play in those sorts of decks. It's not my favorite, but if you told me, hey, a sorcery speed Kabira Takedown that is going to anthem your creatures very easily, like, yeah, no, that gets them dead real good.
Yeah.
I just think this card's good.
Yeah, it's a solid low curve filler removal spell, and it
Mhm.
has the upside being an anthem.
I mean, if you're already it's literally kill a thing probably with toughness 3 or less, and then get 3 extra power on the board. For 2 mana, I take that any day.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about the synergies it has with Lifelink and Death Touch because it's the creature that's dealing the damage.
Ooh, fair point.
Yeah, if you have anything that triggers on combat damage, that also is relevant. So,
Damage
not
to your creature?
just
combat,
damage.
on damage.
Just
Sorry.
damage.
Yeah. The card just seems very solid to me. Has a lot of edge case uses that make it something that you should be thinking about for your tokens decks.
I am. Very much so.
All
All right.
Next card.
All right, I got a cool. Well, actually, I don't think this card's very good, but I want to talk about it. It's Long Goodbye, 1 and a black. This spell can't be countered. This includes by the Ward ability. Thank you, card. And you can destroy target creature or planeswalker with mana value 3 or less. So card's fine. I don't know if it's as good as some people say it is, especially for commander. Uncounterable getting around Ward is nice. I will not lie. But the problem is when you're wanting to get around Ward, it's normally on the fatties, like Ovika, or with like the Ward pay 4 mana and like however much life, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas if it's under CMC 3 or mana value 3 or less, then like the Ward cost is only going to be 1 or 2 mana anyway. I think there's that one fairy.
It's taxing mana or it's taxing life.
Right.
And if you're losing like 3 life to hit your thing, you don't care.
Not in this format.
They printed Oko's like card to get rid of Oko. It's counter. A little late. A little, like 3 or 4 years too late.
Yeah, a card that beats up Oko. Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's my view on this as well. Like, for all the places people are talking about, they're like, oh, I've seen people talking about this for Legacy, and I'm like, this does not kill a Murktide region. I don't know what you're on.
Mm-mm.
Like,
no.
Like, sure, it's uncounterable, but like, so sudden eating. And
Sudden Edict's better.
Generally speaking, yeah. Also, black cards, like, in the 2 mana slot, there's a lot of competition right now in Legacy, so I don't see it. Modern, same case, I don't see it. It's Pioneer in particular that I'm like, yes, you are correct that this card will see some play. And the answer is because it kills Graveyard Trespasser.
I've been out of Pioneer for a minute. What the heck is that card?
It's a 3 mana werewolf that it's a 3 mana 3/3 with Ward, discard a card, and when it enters the battlefield, you exile 1 card from a graveyard. If it's a creature, you gain a life. And then it transforms into a 4/4.
It's a day-night card. It's just efficient, good graveyard removal, incidental life gain, and the Ward is discard a card. So
Yep, it is probably the worst of the 3-drops out of the Rakdos shell, or it's like the most medium of the 3-drops out of the Rakdos shell. But it does its job, so you play it.
Yeah, I mean,
fair enough.
The thing is the premium black removal spells are always going to be Fatal Push until it's not in Legacy and Modern, and then maybe like Dismember. And for Commander, just play Infernal Grasp; it kills anything.
Yeah, and also for Pioneer as well. Talking about the Rakdos shell, you just got Molten Collapse, so it's like, how much do we really care about this?
Not really.
Yeah. So it's got some niche functionality. It does fine. All right, I'm gonna go on to the next card because I want some actual hype. Let's talk about Niv-Mizzet Guildpact.
Let's go,
baby! Wooburg for a 6/6 legendary creature or avatar or dragon avatar with flying hexproof from multicolored. Will probably come up occasionally. Whenever Niv here deals combat damage to a player, he's going to deal X damage to any target. Target player draws X cards. You gain X life, where X is the different number of color pairs among permanents you control that are exactly 2 colors. So you're trying to fill out the 10 guilds, right? Mm-hmm. If you have double Boros, it's only going to count for 1. So just keep that in mind. But it wants you to do a lot. Like, get a lot of these permanents in play that are sticky, that will affect the board in meaningful ways, and then you can use Niv as a draw engine and a removal engine with some built-in protection. Like, I typically don't like playing 5-color decks, but Niv is like spiced. I like him.
It's restrictive enough to where it feels fresh, even in a 5-color shell. Like we already had the one from Aftermath, right? That gave your
the jump start
sorceries
yeah.
jump start,
Boo.
which is it's fine, right?
Well,
this is like you actually play to the board, so it's much more appealing in like a gameplay mindset when it comes to casual commander. And like, who doesn't like to draw cards and deal direct damage and gain life? And like, you're incentivized to play cool permanents. Granted, I've not done the research on what cool permanents you play in this deck. Pernicious Deed probably, and Privileged Position, I guess. I don't know. What are other 2-color permanents you play?
Caddick Teague.
Yeah! Knight of the Reliquary? Yeah!
My disappointment is immeasurable,
Knight of
and my
Autumn!
day is ruined.
But like,
Knight of Autumn I will give you. Knight of Autumn
I
actually
think
probably goes fantastic here.
there was also the other Niv. It's like the 4th Wooburg Niv, or 3rd one. That like, there's the one that enters the battlefield. You can put into your hand cards that are each of the guilds.
Yeah, the one that occasionally sees food chain play because reasons.
Oh yeah. Anyway, but this card's cool. I don't imagine it would be triggering for more than 3 or 4. Like probably the average around 2, 3, or 4.
I think you
That's
can get
good.
to 3 pretty consistently. Like just random enchantments that are going to sit into play. I think you can get to 3 pretty consistently.
There's some good mana dorks too that are multicolor.
Yeah, Deathrite Shaman.
Deathrite Shaman, Faber, Welder.
Yep. I was just thinking General Ferris Rockerick.
Yes. That's the other kind.
Literally this is like that, but 5-color and probably better because you have ramp.
I mean, I love General Ferris Rockerick, but yes, this is better. This is so much better.
Same, but a little different.
Niv is sweet. God, I hate that we didn't get this one into the set release videos. This is so cool.
It came out like a day before.
It literally, we didn't have time.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong.
So popular.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Shelby card.
More so me card, I'd say.
And it is you a card, but Shelby card.
Shelby card? Yeah, this seems like a Shelby card.
Mm-hmm. I can see it.
All right.
We want to one me cards though?
You card.
Me.
Yeah,
let's talk about me here.
A certified Ethan card.
Certified Hood Classic, right? Okay. This is Crime Novelist, right? This is a 1/3 for 3 mana. Already banging stats, right? But wait, there's more. This card is a Goblin Bard, okay? Can we just appreciate the Bard creature type here?
Bards are not normally associated with like poetry and literature. It's really cool.
But wait, there is so much more. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter onto Crime Novelist and add red mana. I cannot express how much I wanted to scream at work when this card got spoiled, but I had to contain my excitement. And it's coming out now. Yes, give me this. I like sacrificing my Ichor Wellspring and then making a mana.
Hey, Ethan.
What? Yes.
Play this in a deck with Delney. You get 2 red and 2 counters.
It's the first time. The first time.
Or this, yeah.
The first 2 times.
No, just the first time.
No, so what we're going to do, hold on, now I have to justify this.
Cameron done goofed, you got to figure it out now.
Cameron, you will sit in the spotlight of your own mistakes. So, seriously, this card is fantastic. It goes to literally any mono red artifact deck, your Dorettis, your slow bad, if you want to play a slow and bad deck. Literally any mono red deck that cares about artifacts. This is just it turns into a threat really quick, and also the extra mana. It's similar to Burgi, I guess, like for a Spellslinger deck with generating mana when you're trying to do what you're trying to do. The fact that it gets bigger to help protect itself from board wipes that are taken about damage is fantastic. It's just, he's so cute there. He's just a little quill, right?
Cute little goblin writing a little story.
Yes, absolutely. And the only thing I wanted to say, Agatha Soul Cauldron.
Okay, I want to add one more thing. Is that Fibblethip at the bottom of the art?
I think it is, yes.
Literally, my boy Fibblethip showing up in
Enhance.
Computer enhance.
It is 100% Fibblethip.
Yeah. I think he's in 4 cards or 5 cards in this set.
Chef's, just so many chef's kisses, all right? I love this. This is my new little favorite boy, and I need like 5. Okay, granted, it's retailing up $5
Pre-release
pre-sale
pricing.
for uncommon.
Pre-release pricing.
Yeah, give it
Pre-release
a
pricing.
week.
It'll be 75 cents at most.
Yeah, this is gonna be an open set.
Inject it into my veins. All
Oh,
right,
yeah.
I need right now. I want it.
Right.
I want it, Jason.
Yeah, you will have it.
I have a card I want to bring up for 1 point. It's Slime Against Humanity, 2 and a green. You make an ooze, and you can have it with a 0/0 ooze and put X/1/1 counters on it, where X is 2 plus the total number of cards you own an exile in your graveyard that are oozes and or named Slimed Against Humanity, and it has a Relentless Rats text of any number of cards of this. Any number of this card can be in your deck. I just want to bring it up because I'm sad it's not a bug. I said last week I wanted it to be a bug, and I didn't get that, and now I'm like, but like,
It's okay.
it's
We
fine.
still got a really good card. I think that this is probably the best of the. You can have any number of these in your deck cards. I think it's the best one, easily, because it does not need to have multiples to stack up. Like still in play, it counts in exile. That is huge.
Yes.
Yeah,
that is so huge.
So here's the spice.
Yes.
Surgical your own deck.
Yes, secret salvage. Actually, you play surgical or secret salvage.
Yep.
Okay, never
Secret
mind.
salvage that
That's
lets you
not-
draw cards as well, right? I'm trying to remember that one. You
Yeah,
exile
it
that
draws
many
cards
for
or does
your,
something similar.
It puts
Yeah.
into your
Yeah,
hand. Like I know the Shadowborn Apostle decks play that.
Yeah, you just exile a number out. It's some spicy tech if you're going into black. If you're playing green black oozes here, this is fantastic.
All right.
Yeah. It's just God, that card is dumb.
It's dumb. I'm excited about it. All right, another card I'm excited about, but also put the fear in God in me really quick. Voja, Jaws of the Conclave, another Naya commander, because they just kept on giving Naya good cards in a guild focus or color pairing
Sure, why
set,
not?
which does not make sense to me personally. But what do I know? So Voja, Jaws of the Conclave is 2 in Naya for a 5/5 again. Legendary creature Wolf with Vigilance, Trample, and Ward 3, because it just needed a ward as well. Whenever it attacks, put X+1/+1 counters on each creature you control, or X the number of elves you control, and then draw a card for each wolf you control. So really, in an elf ball deck, you get to play Naya, get created with the command zone, as well as it just replaces itself. What?
Yep.
What?
Yeah, absolutely. Cards just absolutely fucking cracked. They gave it Ward 3 as well. Like,
Yeah.
like
Why?
Why everything gotta have ward nowadays?
Like commander players don't like their commander getting removed, but they don't want to put hexproof on everything.
Just saying, elf decks don't need a commander. Like, elf decks work just fine without a commander, right? So, Voja just pushes his way over the edge real quick.
Yeah, big old swole elves.
Yeah.
And
Video coming out, first video for the set. This played, and within 2 turns, it was, okay, we have to wipe the board or else we are just dead.
Yeah. Card is sick. Gonna play it at some point. All right, next up.
It's me. I got Anzrag. That's a hard word to say.
Is it I said Anzrag.
Anzrag.
Okay,
Anzrag,
I said Anzrag in my intro.
Anzrag
so
the Quake
hopefully I said it
Mole.
right.
2 in Gruul for an 8/4. Good God, for a mole god. Whenever it becomes blocked, untap each creature you control. After this combat phase, there's an additional combat phase. And then there's an activated ability for a bunch of mana. I think it's 7 total.
Yep.
Anzrag must be blocked each combat if able. This turn. Each combat this turn if able. I like force combat decks. And I think, force blocking decks. So the only other one I made note of was, I wrote it down, Naeth. That one's more card advantage, but this one skews way more aggressive. And Ethan has a fun, quirky little combo.
Oh, you guys know the card Fog, right? The 1 mana card Fog, and it's 27,000 different iterations where it prevents combat damage. Activate Anzrag and then play a Fog effect to where they have to block you each combat, and you just have infinite combats.
Mm-hmm.
That is, it's just hilarious, man.
You got to do something with those combats, but you have them.
I mean, you have them at that point. There's probably a few things you can do. I will say I'm pretty sure if you play Obscuring Haze, it only prevents combat damage dealt to your creatures, right?
Yeah.
So that one you can play a lot more cheeky, where you can just prevent damage going back to your creatures, and you're still always getting that damage in. So you will essentially make sure you get extra combats in, as well as wipe the board because they have to block your stuff, but your stuff can't take damage.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
that does work. The only thing I wanted to add to this is, and Robos everywhere cheered.
Yeah.
Shout out to our patron, Robbo.
He submitted. Gruul player at heart submitted the Gruul deck. We're not surprised one
If
bit.
I knew how to speak Australian, I would cheer in Australian.
We know one word we can say.
Last note, he named his deck Underminer. And that's all I have
That's an
to
incredible
say
reference.
about that. Yes, thank you for just
Explaining
shining
the
the
joke
spotlight
makes it funny,
on the
Ethan. You know?
Jason, you're next, right?
Yeah, I'm next. I'm good now. All right, let's talk about Tomik, Wielder of Law. This is 3 mana, 1 white and black, so Orzhov. It's a 2/4 legendary creature, human advisor, affinity for planeswalkers, meaning that its spell costs 1 less for each planeswalker you control. That's flavor text on this card as far as I'm concerned. Flying, vigilance, and whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and or planeswalkers you control, that opponent loses 3 life and you draw a card. No, this is not the most powerful thing. I'm just very happy to see my boy Tomik.
Would you say Tomik's an ace attorney?
Objection. All right, get out of here with that. It's nice to actually see him in his actual correct guild. I want to say back whenever he was in World of Spark, they had like the Azorius watermark on his card.
Yeah,
right?
they did.
Yes, and
so
he also has a mono white version that gives your lands.
Well,
does
that
the
is-
land
yeah.
stuff.
That is the card we're referring to.
That is actually the card we were talking
You
about.
said
Cameron.
Azorius.
Gaslighting? Yeah, I know.
Well, because it has the Azorius watermark
Yeah.
on it, even though he's in the Orzhov guild,
Yeah.
like canonically.
Yeah.
It was always a mistake,
He's basically second in command of the Orzhov Guild at this point as well.
which is awesome.
Mhm.
Shout
Also-
out my boy Tomik.
For anyone wondering why he has affinity for planeswalkers, it's because he's married to Ralzeric.
It's really sweet.
That's why I'm like, this is flavor text, because it is literally just, aw, too bad you can't play him in the deck.
Nah.
Yeah, but him at the helm of a Orzhov Planeswalker deck is actually pretty cool. It's not really the greatest, but being able to reduce that commander text down
Super Friends
is actually pretty nice.
Super Friends normally isn't the greatest to begin with. So
True.
Correct. But you can do that in a unique color.
But
pairing.
anyways.
you can play all your Kayas, your Sora Markovs, and
Wandering
Gideon and
Emperors.
Lilianas, and
Yeah,
whatever.
There's a
other-
lot of good planeswalkers in that
There
color
is.
combination. So it's
Yeah.
not like you're not going to play any of them. It's just funny to me that the main reason that's there is Ralzeric, who can't be played in this deck.
But
Because
it's
isn't.
cool.
All right, next up.
all right, bear with me. I can't fucking speak. Urgent necropsy.
How's that different than any other day?
Necropsy. Necropsy. Urgent. I am struggling today. It's 2 in a green and a black for an instant as an additional cost. Collect evidence X, where X is the total mana value of the permanents this spell targets. And collecting evidence, you have to exile non-lands, or no, you can exile lands. What can you not exile?
Just cards from your graveyard.
Cards from your graveyard equal to the mana value. So
Well,
if
it's the mana value. The cards from your graveyard's mana values have to equal the X.
yes, so you can exile as many lands as you fucking want. Like
They just count for 0.
Yeah. You can destroy up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, up to 1 target enchantment, and up to 1 target planeswalker. So let's say that you wanted to kill all 4 things. Let's say collectively they have 12 CMC, which is pretty reasonable.
Mana value.
Man, fuck you. I'm a boomer. Anyway, so you would have to exile 12 CMC worth of crap from your graveyard.
Mana value.
So this card sucks, and the collect evidence mechanic is poopy. That's why I wanted to talk about this. Play Casualties of War, kids. Or better yet, don't. And just play
Grace's
Assassin's
Judgment.
Trophy.
Yeah.
When Grace's Judgment.
That's reprinted in
When
this
Grace's
set.
Judgment.
Fuck! Play Pernicious Deed! Like, for real!
Hell yeah.
Well, hey, Cameron, we read Pernicious Deed. Is it converted mana cost or mana value? You tell me.
That one definitely says CMC because that was printed in the year 1984. So
Have you gone to the Gatherer and like
This
take
is literally
your mana?
1984.
fuck, god damn it. That is not why I said that. But funny.
No, legit. I just want to talk about this as well because, like, so the best comparison to this card is Decimate, which has to target each of the things but doesn't target a plane. It's Gruul. It's not Golgari. It's has to target each of the things, and it has to hit a land as opposed to a planeswalker.
Well, this one is up to, so you don't have to target.
Yeah, you don't have to.
exactly.
That's the I said the
Oh,
closest
my bad.
comparison.
Because
The best
Decimate
comparison.
fizzles if one target becomes...
No. If one target's gone, that's fine. If you don't have the target, you can't cast it. That's the problem.
That's right.
So, and also this is an instant, which is, granted, that's pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that.
Yeah. And if you're in a graveyard strategy, I could see the evidence cost not really being a hard thing to get.
It's just awkward, especially because the wording on this one, it doesn't have the reminder text of what collect evidence does, which lets you go over the mana value. So it sounds like you have to be exact, which is really annoying, but you don't. If you exile 20 mana of spells to get rid of 5 mana value of permanents, that works.
I could.
It's like you could overcrew a vehicle.
I could see this in maybe a Hogak deck in Commander.
Yeah, I would say the exact same thing.
I've been wanting to brew a Hogak deck forever, so this may
do it.
like kick me in the butt to do that.
Maybe just to try it out, because like I'm just not seeing. Why is this a mythic?
Yeah, that's the big thing. If it were a normal bulk rare, you could just be like, whatever.
Or we just play this in Tormod Kodama because you get that the green black Tormod value.
True.
I do like that deck. I did brew that at one point.
And I'm going to mention that combination again later. That is a slight preview. Can we go on to the next card? Because we're done talking about bad cards.
Yeah, we're done talking about bad
cards. Let's move on to another bad card.
We'll debate on good card here.
Okay, this is a Warleader's call. Hey guys, you like impact trimmers? Do you want to do that but in strictly Boros? Okay, I did not ask for your opinion. You did.
You asked if you did ask if I like impact trimmers.
No, I asked the audience. Okay?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, see, you talked over them. I'm not happy with you right now, okay? We'll talk about this after class. All right, so this is a Anthem and an Impact Trimmers effect on one card. It's 1 in Boros, so 3 mana. Enchantment, creatures control get +1/+1, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. It's just the best of both worlds at 3 mana. I can't complain. If you're playing any Boros token effect, it's making a lot.
You took Anthem. What if we took an Anthem and glued it to an Impact Trimmers?
I have an Anthem.
Yeah.
I have a Trimmers. Anthem Trimmers.
Ethan is excited because this card is actually good in his P console revival deck.
I am in my Boros
and
arc.
I'm not going to argue against him. In that deck, you're doubling the power and toughness of your doctors. In addition to ping.
It's so good. And then also, if you want to talk about, like, again, our patron, Alcus, him and I, Boros buddies when it comes to this. Anipa Call, any Boros token thing. I think our other patron, Gutty, probably has a Boros token deck. I know he's just a Boros lover. There's just Boros, man. It's so good.
Boros
it's a great
Boros is great if you're using Sunforger.
Okay, no. But thank you for transitioning to bad cards here. Hey, let's talk about Cryptex real quick. All right, so Cryptex is a 2 mana artifact with tap, collect evidence 3, add 1 mana of any color, put an unlock counter on Cryptex. It also has sacrifice Cryptex, surveil 3, then draw 3 cards, activate only if Cryptex has 5 or more unlock counters on it.
This card's so bad.
Don't we love our conditional 2 mana rocks that we don't get to tap on turn 3?
No. I hate this thing. It's so bad.
It's so bad. Get it out of here. Why are we talking about this crap?
We're talking about it because we want to dunk on it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. No, the card's terrible. So I don't see where I would ever play this, even in the situations where I'm like, yeah, I'm playing a really nice self-milled deck. I'll maybe do something with. If I'm playing a self-milled deck, I'm in green or black, and I don't need this.
Yeah. It's bad. Like, get it out of here.
Terrible card. Anyway, next one.
All right, moving on. All right, Surveil Lands cycle. All right, so these are the new land cycle from the set, obviously. There's the 10 of them for each color pair, and they have the basic land types. So, for instance, Commercial District is a mountain forest. In that order, correct. They come to the battlefield tapped, but when you ETB, you surveil 1. So you either look at the top card of your library, put it back on top, or in the graveyard. My friendship has been ended with the temples. My new best friend are the Surveil Lands. Because this is just strictly better.
Where does your relationship lie with the snow duels?
I still like the snow duels. They're a side piece, but like this
side piece. I remember a time. I remember a time when it only had 3 fetchable duels they could get.
Yeah.
Now it's like 7.
Yeah.
No.
6. Trust me. Yeah. I remember. I remember those times because I built a high tide deck in Izzet because I wanted to be able to tap and do shenanigans with high tide. And guess what? I won the game. Was on the channel.
True.
I was playing Vadrock, actually.
Oh, that's right.
Go check it out, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Surveil, I mean, Okay, Surveil is just generally speaking better than Scrying. To anybody who doesn't like putting your own cards into your graveyard, get over it.
Yeah.
Amen to that, buddy.
Like, it's a benefit. Do it. It's really, really good. I really like this card, or this cycle overall. I feel like they're going to be in that awkward spot where they're not quite budget, but they are, like, they're good enough that a lot of people will want them for their decks, but they're not going to be like super budget friendly. They're not going to be $1.
No, they're rares, unfortunately. If they were uncommons, then we might be talking about them as budget options, but I imagine these will settle around $5 or $6 a piece.
Yeah. So it's like just 5 or 6. I don't think it's that gonna be high. No, it's like it's gonna be like $3, 2, 3.
Foil borderless, I could see being
Pendos.
like $5 or $6.
Yeah. Oh, foil borderless. They might even go higher than that. People
like
really
that.
like their
I need
foil
to-
borderless.
I want them.
Yeah. But my thing's like, they're going to be that awkward price point where I don't get to play them for budget, but I don't want them for my high power decks either. So it's going to be like, I'm as much as I like these cards, I'm probably never playing them on the channel. Like, weird to think about that, right?
These are perfect
No,
for like
I
set
was still
release, like for our set release videos.
That's true.
But you don't
They're
get to
good.
play in
They-
those, so
Yeah.
unfortunately.
You don't live here. Nerd, following your passions and doing what you want to do for a living. Couldn't be me.
Hey,
Now that I brought us into a deep, dark, depressive hole, let's move on to a really cool card. And Cameron, tell us about it.
hey, this
Yes,
is
tell us about the deep, dark, depressive hole.
well, this is
No, no,
Marvo
no, the fun card that pulls us out
Deep
of the depressive hole.
Operative. I can say that word.
Ooh.
This is 3
What-
in Demir for a
It's like 4 whole
legendary
syllables.
Octopus Rogue.
Cameron, what's the mana value of this card?
The CMC is 3 in Demir.
It costs 5 mana. Moving on.
Whenever it attacks, you clash with the defending player, which means that you both reveal the top card of your library, and whoever has the higher mana value card wins.
He said it.
So whenever you win a clash, draw a card, and you can cast a card from your hand with a CMC 8 or less without paying its mana cost. So while it's not doing anything like, you know, revolutionary or unique, I think Clash is always cool to come back, for it to come back. Release the Ants used to be a win con in Legacy Show and Tell kids. That was a Clash card. You put Emrakul on top of your
about that.
library and Clash forever.
Sure, Clash of the Ants it is.
But I don't know. It just seems like if you're wanting to play a Demir control deck or like Demir manipulate the top of your library kind of thing, it's fine. It's not, as I said, it's not breaking any ceilings or whatever, but it's fine.
Anyway,
It's close enough. So I do actually want to make a mention. You said Demir manipulate top of library. That kind of reminds me a little bit of Hidetsugu and Kairi.
Yeah.
It's a card that Jason and I talked about. I should have brewed it back in the day. Still kind of want to. So that it kind of falls to that kind of style. One card that you guys didn't mention here, I want to mention Peer to the Abyss.
Yeah.
Recast Peer to the Abyss.
It's also
Yay!
it's also an octopus, and its butt is 8. It is kind of nice it being a 1/8 because it's an attack trigger, and what the fuck's gonna block a 1/8 and kill it? Nothing.
not enough.
Metalwork Colossus. Metalwork Colossus will.
Couple of 4/4s.
1/1 with death touch.
No, like
Yes.
relevant.
Yeah.
Okay, so the thing for me is like this card is just funny.
Is
I
that
wasn't
an
really
octopus holding a knife?
Yeah.
Wait, actually? Wait, one thing. I gotta pull this up.
Octopus is holding a knife, Ethan. Run! He's
I
rapidly
mean, it's grabbing
approaching.
one, but
He's approaching it.
Mhm.
He's approaching the knife menacingly.
very menacingly. Importantly, though, so for this thing, I wasn't that interested in it at first because I'm like, Clash cards aren't good. And then I remembered, like, there's actually a lot more Clash cards than I thought that I'd be, like, okay with playing in this deck. Like, I counted 6 that I would be happy to play. And then there were a few more that I was like, I'll make do with this. So, like, it's actually just not too bad. You get to untap with this thing a decent amount of time. You don't have to attack with it to get its thing. And again, all of your clashes are getting this draw card when you win your clash, you get to draw your card and cast your big dumb thing, which is cool. It's too bad you can't put actual factual omniscience in play, but you can play budget omniscience in one with the multiverse. So, like,
Yes.
got some cool stuff you can do. Also, this is a decent reanimator commander. Because
Okay.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can just
and,
put
like-
the fatties on top of your library. Oh, like the mortuary mire effects and stuff.
Mhm.
Like the black lands that put them on top of
Oh.
your library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Okay.
And the other part to it, there's like a lot of reanimator decks, and this is just generally the case. You don't actually rely on your commander that much for the reanimation side of things.
Oh.
You use your commander for other things, and Marvo's just like, look, reanimation plan failed. I'm just going to show and tell.
All right. I'm doing that now. I've been on a reanimator kick, and I want to do
That sounds pretty poggers, buddy.
All right, next one. Hype card. All right, it's Final Word Phantom. I love this card. So this is 3 mana for a 1/4 Spirit Detective with Flash, Flying, and during each opponent's end step, you may cast spells as though they had Flash. Also, the flavor text of, and just one more thing.
Okay. When this card got announced, our Discord, which you can join, links in the description, popped off, and everyone's saying Columbo. What is a Columbo? Who is a Columbo? I really don't care, but like,
care enough to
I
ask.
want to know, but I don't.
You care enough to ask, that's true.
It's more so I'm just exasperated because I don't understand.
True, I have no idea what a Columbo is. Anyway.
I googled it's some kind of detective show.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a lot of people mad at us for this
Probably.
one.
Actually, it's probably going to be like 10% of viewers mad at us, and then 90% of them being Americans, just like, what's a Columbo?
What's a Columbo?
Anyway, so I like this card a lot in high power and CDH settings because, like, so here's the thing: we mentioned before about how giving the stupid gargoyle or the Thrull, giving that thing Flash was a huge deal. This is similarly really important because it gives all of your other relevant spells Flash. It lets you hold up mana to develop your board later. You know, but people are, well, game nights, they've been huge on playing with cards like Vidalcan Orrery, right? I don't think Vidalcan Orrery effects are generally worth it. But when you give my Vidalcan Orrery Flash, now I'm interested. And this is just a 3 mana one. It's doing all the stuff on the instep anyway, which is normally when you should be casting this. For CDH, I understand. You're not winning over the top of another person's win attempt. I get that. Okay? But still, real good.
Yeah, I really like this card. It also is a Tymna Goober to attack, like the Thrull.
Yeah, it is a Tymna Goober.
It do be that indeed. You know what's not a Tymna Goober, though? Sophia, Dog Detective, 1 in Bant color, so it's a 4 mana, 3/4, a legendary creature, human detective. Whenever it enters the battlefield, create tiny, a legendary 2/2 green dog detective creature token with trample. You can pay 1 and sacrifice an artifact token, put a +1/+1 counter on each dog you control, and whenever a dog you control deals combat damage to a player, create a food token, then investigate. This is the alternate commander for the Bant precon, the Deep Clue C precon.
We really like the alternate commanders in these precons
because they're awesome. Okay, there's some really cool ones in the alternate commanders because we mentioned 3 of the 4 of them, right?
Yeah, we've mentioned 3 of the 4 of them.
And the other one we did not mention. I'm unsure about. That's a different discussion. This one's I'm not super impressed by it. It's cool. I would love to get bodied by a bunch of dogs, but our channel member Matt, he played this for the set release video, and his comments, and I quote, "Card actually seems quite good. The problem is, dog's not good. Making a food and a clue every time a dog deals damage is really strong. But you're playing a bunch of dogs. You're playing a bunch of, honestly, playing a bunch of bears. A bunch of dogs are like 2/2s for 2. All right? So if you want to play the bear deck, play Duskana. And if you want to play dogs, play Rin and Sari or other commanders. This one doesn't really do a whole lot. Mm-hmm. You make, the mana and life advantage you get is cool, but it requires a lot of moving parts, and dogs themselves aren't the most powerful. And I feel like with an aggressive strategy like this, you might want red in your color identity, which it just doesn't have.
Yeah.
Now that I've talked about the actual smart stuff, meme it.
What the dog doing?
What the dog doing? I just want to know. I just want to say I really want to play this with Academy Manufacturer. That sounds fun.
Manufactor.
It is not a manufacturer.
Cameron, this card's been out for like 2.5 years. It's a manufacturer.
Okay.
Literally everyone says it wrong. It is manufacturer.
It is not just me that says it wrong. Academy Manufacturer.
Yes, you are correct. Everyone says it wrong.
Chandler says it wrong in a short somewhere, and I was like, I'm not going to correct him because everyone says it wrong. But like everyone says it wrong.
I can't read.
I don't read.
Yep. And yes, haha, obvious Scooby Doo reference.
I mean, that's the best part of this card. That's the only
Yes,
reason.
I will agree.
That's all we need for it to be here. What are you talking
No,
about?
this
Why
is
are we not
true.
hyping up Scooby-Doo?
Scooby Dooby Doo.
Also, I will say, also, really fair point here. I think people are really just underplaying the fact that this is 4 mana for 5/6 of stats plus upside. I don't think you need much to make this work.
No, and stats are upside with keyword. The dog had dog trample.
Yeah. As a slight criticism of Matt's deck, when I was there with him as he was building the deck, and like I was seeing what he was doing, I'm like, we should not be playing Alpine Hound. We shouldn't just be playing a 2-mana 2/2 Vigilance in our deck. Like, I don't think we need to jam 40 dogs in the deck. We just need 15 dogs in the deck, just because all I want is to be able to make one artifact token every turn. Is that too much to ask?
And the sack is at least to put onto every single dog. And so I think Matt's mentality was line the board up with dogs.
Yeah.
A lot of them are going to get in, and you buff them all up by a lot, essentially funneling your mana into sacking the food tokens to do that, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might just need, we don't have enough time on the turnaround with these set release videos to really wisely make that decision sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Or to test things. We really just, it's a first draft.
It's one of the precon decks, and again, our turnaround on the precon decks was 3 days.
Yeah.
If 2.5, I'll say 2.5 really.
Yeah. So like it was not easy to get these ones done. Hey Watsy, if you want to give us some previews or like that ambassador program you were talking about, we might be interested. Just saying.
Might.
It just makes this
Don't
easier,
play
you know.
It'd be nice.
All right, I'm gonna talk about the next card, which is just like, this is like just generically one of the best cards in the set. So hey, it's Trouble in Pairs. 2 white, so total of 4 mana for an enchantment. If an opponent would begin an extra turn, that player skips that turn instead. Whenever an opponent attacks with 2 or more creatures, draws their second card each turn, or casts their second spell each turn, you draw a card. Just a generically good value piece at 4 mana.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Smuggler's Share didn't end up quite where I wanted it to, so it ended up, I've cut it from most of the decks I had it in.
Sad.
Trouble in Pairs is going to be kind of similar, where it's like, it's really close. I think it's an amazing mid-power card, not so great in the high power. It's all the best parts of Mangara the Diplomat, plus an additional Punisher for draw effects.
Mm-hmm.
And skipping extra turns, while it kind of does just kind of feel pasted on there, it's like it could come up. It's better for it to be there than it not to be.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I think our meta, our play group, isn't really as run over by extra turn spells, because we kind of rule zero them out of a lot of our games. For random pods going on at LGS, it could be a very relevant line of text that we just don't understand because we're not in that environment.
True.
So I'm okay with seeing it on so many cards like this. I will say at 4 mana, it's a little bit of a hard sell. I like Smuggler Share at 3 because you get that down, but like 4 needs to be really impactful with how fast the meta is nowadays.
True.
So I'm not the most impressed by it, but it is a lot of cool stuff, and I like it. I'm just not. I want it to be good. 4 mana is just a hard sell, especially double white, right?
Yeah. But that said, I still think it's one of the best generically good cards in the set.
I'll give you that.
It's a good card.
All right, next one.
Okay, Follow the Bodies. Hey guys, I love this. This is a sorcery for 2 and a blue. It's got Gravestorm. So whenever you cast a spell, copy it for each permanent put into a graveyard for the battlefield this turn. And all it does is you just investigate. You make a clue token. So if you have 10 permanents enter your graveyard and you cast this, you make 10 clues.
Technically 11 clues.
So it doesn't really sound that great. I know on the surface level, but anything with any effect of storm related is kind of insane. You get a lot of cool stuff. So namely, the card that I think about with this is Stormcone Artist, because for each of those copies you make of the Follow the Bodies, you make a treasure token because you copy the spell, and you just go to town from there. You just make a lot of mana. Note this also says permanent, not permanent card, like the Descend mechanic from Last Counters Ixalan, just permanent. So treasure tokens trigger this. Any token triggers this. So clue tokens you sacrifice, treasure tokens, treasure tokens. And again, I say treasure tokens add to Gravestorm.
It's also worth noting, this is the second card that has ever been printed with Gravestorm on it. Like,
Yeah, Bitter Ordeal's the other one.
Yeah, granted, Bitter Ordeal actually just wins the game when you cast that one with the full Gravestorm effect. But this is a card that if you're not just actually winning, you still have a relatively good value play here. And it's, again, not just your graveyard, it's any graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never cast Bitter Ordeal. I didn't know.
I could see this in some blue eggs decks as a way to either like continue your like KCI loops or just convert your random infinite mana into drawing your deck.
Correct.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things you can do with this. It's one of those ones where we have to put a little more thought into like exactly how you're breaking it, and it will be situational for each thing. But just saying here, hey, here's 1 million junk tokens that we get to work with, and we will do something with these. That'll get you there some way.
Yeah.
Next up, Ethan, you back at it again.
with the white vans. All right. So, Prisoner's Dilemma. This card is, I'm not going to say good. It's hilarious.
Yes.
It is 3 and 2 red for sorcery. Each opponent secretly chooses Silence or Snitch. Then those choices are revealed. If each opponent chooses Silence, it deals 4 damage to each of them. If each opponent chooses Snitch, it deals 8 damage to each of them. Otherwise, Prisoner's Dilemma deals 12 damage to each opponent who chooses Silence. So, this one's going to be hard to actually play properly. And I say that because with how the rules are, you cast this, they can all debate before the spell starts resolving. But as soon as you start resolving, technically, you can't say what you're choosing until you reveal. So you need to shut up if someone's casting this so you can make your decision. This is the only time in Commander I'm okay with lying. This is like the only time, and I think it's hilarious. They found a way to break the social contract in a way that's like okay. That's hilarious. It is not really a good card because like even if you're doing 12 damage to some opponents, like it's Commander, that is like a little bit more than a fourth of the life total. But if you give this thing lifelink, that's hilarious.
Yes.
So if you're playing like in the new Judith Carnage Connoisseur, fantastic, marvelous, love it. Or in Fire Song of Sunspeaker, like there's places to play this card, and it's got flashback. I forgot to mention it has flashback, so you can do it again.
There you go.
Jason was just waiting. He's like, "I'm going to get him."
I was going to say, like, if you didn't mention this flashback, I'm getting you.
Yeah, no. So it's a fun card. It's in the Boros precon from this set. It's cool. Is it going to break the format? No. It's going to be fun to get to play around with, like poking at your friends a little bit, and like. I don't know if this would be good like in a random meta against people you don't know because like the lying aspect and like kind of the half true thing. Playing it in a play group that you like the people and it's like you play consistently, I think it'd be a much better experience.
Yeah, I think you got a good point on the like salt factor that might come out of this because of how people expect politics to go and then getting stabbed in the back because that's hilarious. Like it's just boy.
Yeah.
Boy. This is so much damage. Like,
that's a lot of damage.
Like, just think about this for a second. If it is something where you have, one player doing Silence, other one doing Snitch, right? You're just dealing 12. If you have 3 opponents here, and you get 2 people, and that's 24 damage on a single spell, and it's all to face, right? And then you get to flash this back, like. It's not a super high power card. I get that. But it's still like, you're going to do so much and you are going to absolutely change the entire course of the game based on this spell resolving. And I think that the whole coordination and everyone just agrees is not going to come up quite as often as you think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think a lot of people are going to sit there and go, no, I'm going to hit these guys. This is funny. I'm going to hit them. I don't want to take 8. I don't want to take 4. Get him.
I want to copy this spell. I want to Storm King's Thunder into like 20 copies of this.
I was hoping this card said actually said vote because I was gonna look at what happened, like because Tivit says you vote again, and I was like, that'd be funny if you vote twice. But this card does not specifically say vote. So
yeah, unfortunately, all the voting there's not very many red cards that vote, but this would be a hilarious one to have it.
It would.
Yeah.
Next card, my sleeper OP pick for this whole set, because I love talking about white cards apparently. Let's talk about Apothecary White. Why is nobody talking about this card? Just going to lay that out. This is 4 mana, 3/4, legendary creature, human cleric, relevant creature types. Whenever you attack, create a food token for each player being attacked, and then 1, tap her, tap X untapped foods you control to create X 1/1 human creature tokens. hey, attack with 3 goobers, make 3 tokens, make 3 more goobers. She doesn't have to attack, but she has vigilance to make this happen anyway. Like, the continual scaling you're going to get here as you just make 3 more food, and then you get more tokens, and then 3 more food, and then more tokens. And you just get to keep doing this over and over and over. Also, the activated ability here does not have to be at sorcery speed.
Yeah, you can hold it up. And White is also really good at token doublers and token triplers now. So go crazy.
Yeah, the one mana to activate this, and it being specifically 1 white, does hurt. Do not get me wrong on that. That hurts a lot.
Just play 34 planes as your mana base.
Yeah, you don't need, like... this card good. Just it's good. This is a good commander, and I don't know why people are not talking about this as a legitimate, like, not quite Adeline level commander. It's like low sodium Adeline.
It's in the clue set. That's exactly why. I would bet money that it's in the clue set. There's actually a lot of cool cards in the clue set. But because it's not the main product and it's not the commander sub product, it's the sub product.
True.
And it's confusing on the rollout and how to play it. Like I don't even know the details on it, and I keep up with this crap.
I don't care. I'm just gonna buy it, and I'm gonna get an Apothecary White and be like, get poked.
Get them.
Yep, fair enough.
All right.
So, speaking of clue cards, hey Cameron, what you got?
It's a bug. This is Amzu. Swarm's Hunger. It's 3 a black and a green for a legendary insect shaman that has flying and menace, and other insects you control have menace, and whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, you may create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token and put a number of 1/1 counters on it equal to the greatest mana value among those cards. It has no more text. This card's great. I love this card. It's a 3/3. It's a bug.
So, Two things. 1, stop lying. It has a do this only once each
Stop
turn
it.
clause.
I'm erasing that one.
And no, you're not. And second, can I just say, you sounded like Dobby getting his freedom the second when you started.
You have no idea how happy I was reading this card until the dreaded do this only once each turn.
I need to find.
And also,
Cameron,
we've hold on real fast. Like, we've been talking about Reanimator decks. This card doesn't care where the card goes. It just says leaves your graveyard. So if you reanimate a 6 CMC, you make a 7/7 bug to go with it. So like, I'm gonna be degenerate and play this as insect typal, or just put it in my insect deck because that's what I do.
Hey Cameron.
Shuffle
in that World Spine Worm. Actually, that's probably that one's a replacement effect, isn't it? That's not a trigger. Never mind. Hey, shuffle in that Ulamog.
I was gonna say, does Bystal Colossus, is that a replacement effect? Or is
that's a replacement effect.
Yeah, you need the triggers on the Eldrazi. I don't know, just like, obviously this is like the Collect Evidence commander, but Collect Evidence is poo-poo dookie water, so we don't gotta worry about that.
Yeah.
Deathrite Shaman's hella good in this deck because you can exile creatures from your own graveyard and just be like, I'll gain 2 life and make an 8/8.
I was incorrect. World Spine Worm is a trigger. Have
Let's
fun.
Go!
Poggies?
But now you just need to unban Flash and get that into your
I had to talk
your
about
deck.
this because it's a bug. I got to put my bugs back together. They're mostly together.
Okay. So, on that note, Cameron, where did we go wrong? Why are you a bug guy? What happened?
I don't know. It's kind of
did I hurt you?
No,
did I do
bugs
something
are cool.
wrong? You?
Like, I don't know. I built Zask on a fucking whim. I kind of built it as more lands, but now that I have Kura, I'm just gonna go full into like bugs. I need to get that enchantment I talked about last week, Verdant Succession, and try to combo with it with Zask. But Amzu seems like a more aggressive lean towards insects, and I actually have kind of talked myself into like this is actually a decent Reanimator commander because it applies a lot more pressure on your opponents.
True, Jason, I don't know if we went wrong, Jason. We got to put them down.
We're not putting down the bugs. The bugs will thrive.
The bugs will thrive.
All right. So we're done with this. These are the majority of the cards we wanted to talk about. We got a few more that we're just going to quickly hit on. Go ahead.
Are we going to even read them off? Or are we just going to say what the name is and they can read it later?
Yeah, it's like we don't have a lot of time.
Escape
to cover
Tunnel. Rip my boy, Evolving Wilds, and Terramorphic Expanse. Friendship ended
with Evolving Wilds.
Were we ever friends with Evolving Wilds, though?
Yes.
No. In budget, yes.
We were.
I'm always a...
Yes, and also...
Go ahead.
Hey, the D&D art one they
That
have, where it's
one's
like
cool. I have that
the
one.
module.
Mhm.
All right, come on, that's
I
sick.
just
But my friendship
unless
ended
you're in a
with it.
landfall deck, I just advocate playing another duel or another.
Why are we
basic.
spending this much time on this?
Fair.
Okay, Insidious Roots. All right, Insidious Roots is a 2-mana enchantment. Creature tokens can tap for one of any color, and whenever a creature card leaves your graveyard, you can make a plant token or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And put
It's
a 1/1
really
counter
good.
on all
It's
your
like,
plants.
oh, okay, that just does a lot.
Yeah.
This card's kind of cracked, right, Jason?
Yeah, this is like a dumb uncommon. This is great. Next card.
It's fantastic. Okay, Corporeal Projection. It gives a target creature Myriad, but if you can overload it for 7 mana and give all creatures you control Myriad.
Mhm.
Whoa, that's sick. It's an Izzet. Kind of weird. All right, Doppelgang.
Oh, I do have one thing to say on that.
okay.
Krark, Dockside Extortionist, multiple things of Myriad do stack. Carry on.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
So a card could come
And again,
out
I say,
at some
oh.
point with Myriad.
Myriad. Yeah.
That would be hilarious. Okay.
That okay, cool. And moving on. Doppelgang. It's like blue, green, and 3 X's you could pay into it.
Mhm.
To like copy any number, like X permanents, X times. Lol.
Lamau.
even.
Okay, Undergrowth Recon, 3-drop enchantment. Beginning of your upkeep, you put a target land card from your graveyard on the battlefield tapped. It is a slow, good commander card. In a green ramp deck, it just kind of does the thing. No complaints.
it does the
Cameron says
cooking.
that they go really... Cameron, what was the type of fetches you think go really well with this card?
The new Capenna fetches.
Yes.
The ones that are the ETB immediately sacrifice
Yes.
themselves. to go get
Otherwise,
the land.
you don't want to play other fetches with them because it just takes forever. Like,
It's slow, but at
Regular
least you're
fetch
getting a
ones are
land back.
yeah, I
Yeah,
was
I
like
think
evolving
they're
wilds.
fine.
They're bad.
Yeah, Evolving Wilds is
Yeah.
not great.
Hey, friendships ended
And-
with it.
Oh,
We don't
wow,
talk about
next
it
one.
anymore.
Good tunnel.
Okay, Barb Servitor. It's the stuffy doll effect, but it's in black. It's cool. Black hasn't got this effect. All those people that like Josh Lee Kwai that have been trying to do the stuffy doll or Boris Reckoner decks for like 5 years now. You got another toy to make you want to build a deck again for like another 2 weeks, and you realize it's bad. Take it apart.
This one also has evasion on it because it enters with a suspect counter, and when it deals combat damage, you draw a card.
Neat.
Hi.
Anyway.
More upside.
Okay, Lana's genetics expert. I need to actually look this one up because I just know it kind of goes infinite with the ham and cheese sandwich. Not necessarily a ham sandwich, but a ham and cheese. It needs a little bit more.
It does
there.
need a little more work. Yeah, he do be cooking, but he actually has to cook. He does not get to just go sandwich.
He needs a little bit more seasoning on that chicken, right?
Yeah.
It's got evolve. It's a 1/2 with evolve, and whenever one more +1/+1 counters are placed on it, you investigate that many times. Whenever you sack a clue, put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature you control. So if you just can put counters on a thing, then you just get the investigate, make infinite clues, and just go from there. It's cool. I'd be interested to see it as a commander. Our resident clue, Lannis player, Matt says it's a better addition than 99 than as a commander. I don't know. I don't play Lannis anymore.
I will give you that
released
there's
years
like
ago.
Bant decks with I think it's like Yodian Dissident that make 2-card combos with this. So like there's some cool stuff that you can do with it.
Probably.
Mhm.
And Jason, what's the last one?
The last one is the dog token from the set. First of all, fuck you, I make the rules. This is adorable.
Oh my god, that thing is so cute.
Look at this thing. It's so cute.
It is adorable. Okay.
Also, my
It's
favorite...
gonna make me really sad to block it in combat.
You right? It's also just kind of hilarious to me that like there's like 3 cards in the set that make that make this token. One of them is a piece of meat, so we don't worry about that. But the other 2 of them show like these big, strong dogs doing big, strong dog things, and I just think it's hilarious that Hunted Bone Brute is running away from this little thing. Just 2 of these chasing it down the street.
This little guy.
Look at these
This
dudes.
little dude.
Anyway.
Well, it's funny they printed a dog with unblockable on it. Really, it's really interesting.
Yeah,
'cause
it's
I'm not
great.
walking.
I love that.
They really did.
Overall thoughts on the sets. What do you think on this?
I go between like, think this is like an awesome set and not being impressed at all. Like I like a lot of these cards. We were
Yeah.
having a tough time cutting down this list, and there's more we can mention. There's a lot of great ones, like Case of the Ransacked Labs, another one that I didn't mention that I wanted to, just for time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unique good cards as a whole, though. I don't know, like this is gonna be like a sleeper set. I feel like it's got a lot of great stuff. We realized 3 years down the line, we're like, holy crap, we had it good when this came out.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. I was kind of weirded out by some of the Twitter discourse, which was today for you all. That'll have been last week. Whereas a lot of people who were like, "Yeah, this set's not very good. It doesn't have anything of interest to me," and I'm like, it's got a lot of like
literally what?
It's got like individually unique cards that I like, but like, okay, so Investigate's not a bad mechanic, but it's not exactly like the most sexy mechanic out there. Collect Evidence is just kind of poopy dukes, as mentioned before.
Yes.
We didn't mention a single card with Disguise, because like Morph's okay. Like honestly, Morph's not the most fun mechanic overall. It made Cons Limited fucking perfect, but like it made Limited perfect, not Constructed perfect.
Yeah, like as Ethan said, I think it's a sleeper set. I think the Commander decks are a fucking home run. I literally just bought one.
Oh my god!
I literally just bought the blue-black one right now because I was like, I want to build an octopus reanimator. So,
hell yeah, brother!
Dude,
power to you.
And like looking at the reprint value, like I know, like it's not what we should keep at the forefront of our mind, but these have value. The blue-black one has Deluge, Reanimate, fucking Necromancy. Like,
yeah.
Okay, and there are some really cool cards from the main set. The bangers are bangers, but as you said, the mechanics, some of them are kind of like Collect Evidence, especially. Like, I remember when it got spoiled, it was like, oh, this new card, like the Izoni, I wanted to talk about, but I didn't because Collective Evidence is bad. And it was like, oh, if Collect Evidence does anything good, then this card's really good. Unfortunately,
I will say there's only like we only mentioned 4 commanders from the main set in this podcast. There's more that are like interesting, like the Judith is kind of cool, but like I don't feel like the commanders are what people are going to come to the set for. There's like like we mentioned Delney, Anzrag, Krenko, and like one other one. The other ones were like things in other products, like there's Voja was in the pre-release kits.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
I don't know about that one. And like most of these things were like a lot of these cards were from the pre-cons. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's really where I think there's a lot of great cards in the main set, but like also a lot of good cards in these pre-cons. I think these pre-cons are fantastic so far.
I agree. This is for me, just looking at it seems like a solid set. This is also our first set with play boosters, which is honestly, it's going to affect some of my decision. I'm not sure how it's going to affect my decision, honestly, but I know that it will. If I don't like play boosters, that will affect this opinion. But
we don't know yet.
Yeah. But the cards in the set, like, these are fun. Like, individually very powerful, very fun cards. Like, again, like, we're just going back to some of the things we've already mentioned.
The theme is
right?
fun. Like, the whole, like, concept of the set is fun to me. Like a murder mystery
theme. It's kind
on
of cool.
Ravnica.
And the fact that they tied in Clue to this. That's hilarious. Okay. I like the branding.
Okay, perhaps a hot take. I actually don't think this was a great theming. But the murder mystery as a whole, I think that WotC can do a great job with. I think this one was a miss for me.
See, you're more in the weeds. I don't like get into the weeds of. I don't know if the lore and like that impacts your decision in this. Like reading all that stuff, I'm not. So like from a surface level, like this kind of stuff, like murder noir, like film noir, murder mystery, it's really cool.
No,
it's fun.
See, that's the thing, right? Like I think it's a great idea that they did this. This should have been on New Capenna.
Yeah.
I will give you that, actually. I will agree with you.
It should have just happened on New Capenna. I actually wouldn't have been against having this in a plane that is less city-focused, actually. Something that's where there's a little bit more travel involved, where do you actually like? It was brought up before that maybe Innistrad would be a good spot for it, and like I see Innistrad as a decent option, but Innistrad's more like Bloodborne style of investigation as opposed to the like taking it seriously, like, clamping down on a location and trying to sort out a lot of clues, but also needing to move around a bit. I don't know. Zendikar maybe could have been an interesting way to go about this. We already have the adventure component with traveling built into it, but perhaps that's a bit redundant. Either way, I think it was a good attempt. It barely missed for me. Mm-hmm. Also, randomly, and I don't know why, I fucking called who the villain was going to be from this early on. I didn't know exactly who it was going to be, but I knew it was going to be. It's going to be this guild. This guild is responsible for something.
Who is the villain?
You want spoilers? All right, spoilers. Skip ahead in like 5 seconds if you don't want to hear it. The villain from this set was Trostani.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hence why it has Death Touch on the commander that we didn't mention.
Specifically, it was Oba, one of the 3 dryads that make up the collective being that is Trostani. the Dryad of Life was the one who decided to kill people.
Why?
Because the evil that was being done by all the other guild heads, like Kylox was doing experiments on Phyrexian stuff, or Teysa was communicating with the Phyrexians, apparently.
Kylox wasn't the problem. Kylox happened to be in the way, and that's why he died. Krenko was the problem. Krenko was the target.
Is Krenko dead?
No, Krenko's alive. Kylox died for Krenko's sins.
Which is not fair.
Krenko was extorting people during a what was functionally a recovery effort. He was extorting people, so that's why he was targeted. He was trying to get rich off of it. He's the buy toilet paper guy. Like, quite literally.
That sums it up.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
And the Zagana got killed because I don't know what gender they are, but like doing experiments on the inert Phyrexians.
Okay.
Yes, she was doing research on the Phyrexians. However, it is important to note that Oba was incorrect in her assumptions of who she was targeting. She incorrectly killed Teysa and Zagana because Zagana was doing that research to find a way to kill the Phyrexians. And similarly, Teysa was coordinating with the Phyrexians to decode their language and figure out their battle tactics.
Damn it, Tristani.
Yeah, the voice that they were hearing through Vitu-Ghazi can hear hums of the world. It can't hear the exact words. So that was the problem. So Oba killed, and also Oba revealed as well that there was like probably a dozen other people she killed that hadn't been discovered yet. So like...
Some real serial killer shit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why there's that red-green card from the set showing Oba on fire. Like,
yeah,
she was channeling the world.
It's also a sick card. Another card we didn't mention.
Yeah.
The moral implications over it's a one being of an entity. Can you really prosecute one without the other two that are innocent getting in the way? It's a whole.
Lavinia is pissed.
Yeah, it's a whole weird thing. But I think lore discussions really cool. But I think we should probably wrap this up because we've been.
Absolutely, we are done here. Thank you all very much for watching another episode of the Wrinkly Brain Podcast. If you would like to see edited EDH gameplay videos, check out our main channel, Smooth Brain EDH. We are uploading every Saturday. Once again, we are done with the Sunday experiment for now, and that did not go great. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give us a comment and let us know what you think. And if you'd like to talk to us directly, you can join our Discord. Or, if you want to support us financially, you can join our Patreon. All links are directly in the description or in our link tree. This has been Jason, Ethan, and Cameron. Y'all have a great day.